Cobblepot gets promoted to collector status. Here's a look at the McFarlane Toys McFarlane Collector's Edition, the Penguin. They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but they also say evil is as evil does. A master manipulator, the Penguin is usually surrounded by violent henchmen who do his bidding without question. But when it comes down to face-to-face, expect him to unleash a deadly barrage from a variety of umbrella weapons to other ingenious devices, often taking the form of foul. When all else fails, the Penguin will fight as dirty as they come. Hand-to-hand combat doesn't ruffle his feathers at all. Well, I guess we know now who's been procuring all the city's supply of perfect parasols. Oh. Sorry about that. Just before we get a closer look, stop that. At the McFarlane Toys Collector's Edition Oswald Cobblepot, or many of you may then know him also as Penguin, let's grab the tape measure and see how tall the figure stands. From his rogues gallery of Batman, I mean, he's not the tallest around. He's not big on size, but he's big on stature. Oswald stands at 6 inches in height, or the Penguin's going to be 15.5 centimeters tall. As for how the figure stacks up with bats, bringing in one of my favorite Batman, and always one that I seem to be using for my comparisons, here's what the figure looks like with the Nightfall Batman. Of course, then to bring him in with some of the other rogues that we've already had a look at, I'm going to bring in, he's my stand-in at least for right now for Joker until we get ourselves kind of a classic version of the Joker. Here's what he looks like with the Infinite Frontier Joker. Here's also as well what he looks like with the Nightfall Catwoman. Over here, the Riddler in the back. Just bring him in right now. Here's what he looks like also as well with Clayface. Now, Clayface, still, I feel like we eventually will hopefully get ourselves a classic version of Clayface. And here's also as well what Penguin also looks like with the Nightfall Bane. Because I still also have them, I thought it would be fun to bring in the original Mattel DC Universe Classics version of Penguin. 2 variations of him. The one, though, to the right was the original Penguin we got from what Wave 1? Was that the Metamorpho Wave? We did also, though, get a follow-up version of Oswald Cobblepot that's a little bit more closer to the original Superpowers release of him. Funny, though, enough that while this one has very much matching colors to the original Universe Classics Wave 1 Penguin, we're also getting, though, a variation of this mold with the colors more closer to this one here. The accessories for Penguin are quite light. The figure only comes include 1 pair of swappable hands, one of its trusty umbrellas, and then, of course, a classic rendition of the character in a trading card perched on top of a podium standee. The standee is one that we always get with the collector's edition release from McFarlane's team. And of course, it houses the card on the top. Whether you decide you want to display this with the figures or you just like to store them away. I always generally, when it comes to figures like this that come with these, I mean, if they take the time to mold them and they take the time to package them, I'll take the time to put them on display with the figures. It's hollow in the back, but that's not really the place you're going to be looking at. What you're going to be looking at, though, instead is the way they've painted brilliantly the DC logo on the front here in silver. I'm not a big fan of the way this DC logo is. I don't know if I've ever really mentioned this, but the way they cut off the D like this, it always kind of looks like it says the OC. I've never watched the OC. Have you? Let me know down below. Actually, maybe not. Don't let me know. What we get, though, is a classic look to Oswald. He has one of his parasols in his hands. I mean, it's unfortunately a painful reminder that they didn't take much of a time to paint the umbrella that comes included with the figure, as it's basically just a black umbrella. I would have loved if they could have used a little bit of multicolors happening here, maybe some of the purples, like renditioned here, the yellows, and maybe some of the greens. But we also as well get ourselves a blue version of Penguin that's going to be part of the Platinum Edition release, that if you aren't a big fan of the black umbrella, it also comes included with a red umbrella. If we flip around to the back of the card, it does tell us that this is from the DC Classic line. His real name, of course, Oswald Cobblepot. You could take the time, sure, why not? You could read this if you wanted to. I've already beaten you to it. I read it at the beginning of this review. Let's just slide this back in. There's slots on either side. We'll just take the card and we'll just... I always find like this one corner, I don't know if maybe perhaps it's kind of frilled up or something like that, but I always find it's a little hard to get this slotted on the side. There we go. I certainly don't want to damage the card. We'll just put that off to the side for right now. The figure, like I said, does come included with an umbrella. Whether you like more the sleeker look to a black umbrella, or again, there's going to be the red umbrella we're getting with the Platinum Edition release of it, at least it does have the penguin symbol, a little penguin head there on the top, which has been nicely molded here in gold. My guess, though, is they probably have cast this all in black plastic, because that would have been the easiest thing, and then they would have just painted the tip on the end, and then, of course, they would have painted the little penguin there on the top, all here in gold. Of course, he does also have hands. Now, he does already have gripping hands on the sides of his forearms, accommodating to hold the umbrella. If you wanted to, the figure also comes included with a closed fist. And he also comes included with this hand here. At the opener end of this review, what I ended up doing was I was using this hand to kind of make it look like he was kind of holding the side of his jacket. It also kind of looks like I'm holding an invisible mug of coffee. If you did want to change out the hands, though, the hands are extremely easy. You're just going to pop and remove them from the forearms. Use the hand that you want to use. You want to make sure, of course, whether it's a penguin or not, thumbsies will always go in. And then what I just ended up doing was, because the arms are bent like this, a double hinge in the elbow, I sort of had it where it kind of looked like Penguin was holding so debonair, so upper class. I just kind of had it looking like he was holding the side of his jacket, which I guess, I don't know if that's maybe specifically the reason why they include that hand, or if the hand serves another purpose, or hey, why not? It's just a relaxed hand. But he also comes, like I said, with a closed fist. I'm not probably ever going to really use that. If you wanted to, you could get the umbrella in his hand. Now, there's two ways really to do this. One of which is that you could take the handle end of it, and you can sort of sandwich it underneath his hand, like I did at the beginning of this review. It's not the easiest thing, mind you, to get it in his hand, because a lot of times, just the size of the head on this, it's so big. And just to get that actually into his hand is a little bit more difficult. Of course, you can also do the tried and true method as well. Just simply put it in his hand like this, and then the figure would be able to hold the umbrella. Now, the fingers do kind of get in the way of things. Just pop the handle in there. There we go. All right. Good to go. Oh, and then we just dropped the umbrella. I just figured I had it all the way in there, but I guess I didn't. Get the umbrella all the way in. And again, like the only thing, unfortunately, about Penguin, other than his fingers getting in the way if you want to have him holding the umbrella, is that he doesn't come with any other version of the umbrella other than this one here. Now, maybe we may get ourselves another variation of Penguin down the road. It's very unlikely that they could have also included an open version of the umbrella. Now, I probably could use some of the umbrellas we got also as well with the DC Multiverse line, DC Universe line from Mattel. Maybe just include one of those because, again, those are an open umbrella. But I would have liked if the figure could have come with a couple of variations of his. Anyways, though, with all the struggle of trying to get this into his hand, we're just only going to be putting it off to the side anyways. We'll also move this out of the way, too, so we can get a whole lot of time, commit a lot of time to looking at the Penguin. Figure's face is fantastic. I really like the way they've sculpted this in a way it looks more like the classic look to Penguin, but it kind of gives him a little bit more of a modern take to this as well. This reminds me of the front cover of it. Was it Secret Origins? It had like the backstory of some of the characters. There was Two-Face. I think there was Riddler. Penguin, I think, was down at the bottom corner. But it kind of reminds me of, I think it was a Secret Origins annual. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you'll probably have no idea. You just say, I don't know what this guy's talking about. But that kind of reminds me of that version of Penguin that was on the cover. And I think he actually has his head sort of up like this. And maybe he's got his arms crossed and he's got the umbrella kind of in between his hands. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the head sculpt is nicely painted. I like the way they've darkened the colors around his eyes. Of course, he's got the monocle. The monocle is not removable. Don't try to pry that off. What do you do? Can we get a little closer? Can we get a little closer? There you go. There you go. Hope to never disappoint when it comes to giving you guys the close-up shots. Don't like those videos where people are just got a figure back like here and they're just waving their hands in front of it. Hey, guys. No, we want to get up close and personal. Now, the hat is not removable. Like the monocle, it is also very soft and plastic, too. It's a good-looking head sculpt, though. Now, the variation of Penguin that we're going to be getting from the Platinum Edition is essentially taking this mold, and what they're doing is changing then everything that's black to blue. So, like the hat, the jacket, for example, will also be blue. And then what would have originally started as an orange vest will then be a yellow vest. So, again, it's going to look like the original Superpowers release of Penguin. That's also, again, going to come include with a red umbrella, so it's just going to be essentially the same mold as the original one that we're getting with this release. But I'm definitely looking forward to get my hands on that one. It's going to be, though, it's a little bit more expensive. I feel like it's almost even double the price of what we're getting here with the original release of Penguin. I'll tell you one problem I have with this. I think overall he's been painted well as I sort of circle all around him, except for one area, and I'm circling closer right here. It's this weird, unnecessary need for blue. Now, everything else is black around it. So he's got black on his sleeves. He's got black on the back of his jacket. He's even got like black on the tops for his shoulders. And yet, in a strange place, they've got this band of blue. Obviously, it's going to stop right here because this is where his vest is. But see, there's like a band of blue. It starts right here on the side. It carries its way across. It can't, of course, go across the stream. And then jumps to the other side of the bridge, and it's on this side as well. But it's only here. And you can see, like, it goes only about halfway across his collar. I don't know why it had to be there. Whether they decided at one point that they were going to be adding some additional blue to the rest of the figure's body, or it could have also been just the way it was a factory error in the way they've painted it. But it's the only thing that's jarring about this figure, because everything else looks good to him, except for this area right here, across the other side of the stream, and on this side here as well. I wonder if I could see if I can go in there, paint that a little bit, but I'd hate to have that not then look at the rest of it wouldn't look like the rest of the black that's just been molded here in the plastic, but I don't know why. Again, this area here and this area right here are just in blue. It's in no other place on the figure. From his lower legs, obviously they're just using kind of more of a dark purple here. I really would have liked if they could have added some panel lining, but again, generally a clean looking figure. He's got spats down below here above the tops of his shoes. I did notice though, when it comes to getting this guy to stand, I don't think it has really anything to do with the fact that he has small feet. He also has pegals on the undersides of his feet. But I think it's also too because the back of the pant leg drapes low like this. So you can never really feel like you're bending the feet flat. It always kind of feels like his feet are being pushed forward or pushed more on an angle. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But of course, the figure does also come included with a display stand, which this whole time of yammering on, I've left off the fact the figure also comes included with a secondary display stand. So he comes with one stand for the trading card, and he comes with this stand right here. I've missed this whole time in this review that has the DC logo printed down below. So yes, that can plug onto either one of Oswald's feet to help balance the figure just a little bit better. Now for the figure's articulation, getting up close and personal again. There we go. There we go. Head's going to be on a ball joint, so yes, it rotates all the way around. I love the fact they gave him some longer hair there on the back. I think he'd be pretty much bald on the top, a good landing field for planes. On the back, though, there's a whole party going on. Head's going to rotate again all the way around. It's going to be on a ball joint. The head's going to look down about that far. It's going to look up, and you can also move it back and forth as well. Arms come out. They're a little on the loose side on this side, a little tighter, though, on this side here. They rotate, though, all the way around. The figure has a swivel in his bicep, a double hinge on his elbow, and the hands do rotate all the way around. For the upper torso, it's going to be on a ball joint. This, by the way, is soft plastic. This, by the way, is also soft plastic, but the joints are nicely concealed, and I think for the most part he bends pretty good, considering he's got so much drapery here on the front, and he's got so much going on the back with his tail jacket. He surprisingly bends pretty good when it comes to his articulation in the abdomen area. Legs do split out. They seem to be on ratcheted joints, or ball and hinge joints. You can take the legs and move forward. You can move them back. There's a slight swivel on the top of the thigh, only possessing a single hinge on the knee that allows at least the lower leg to rotate, and an up and down movement, a back and forth there. And of course, the figure does have toe articulation. Not the first penguin we've gotten actually from McFarlane's team. If backing track a bit, the figure also got released. The character got also released as part of the Batman line. Of course, though, for my penguin, I prefer a much shorter, stoutier looking figure, a little bit more portlier on size, always carrying around umbrellas. I don't think, also obviously the newer Batman, I don't think has he had yet a monocle? I don't think he's also even carried around an umbrella. So if you like more of the classic look to Oswald Cobblepot, this is the best way to go. Now again, there's going to be this release that we looked at over how long have we gone looking at this video? What, 15 minutes? 15, 12, 15 minutes? Some would even say too long. Hey now, that's not nice. But while obviously this guy got released in the more classic colors, there's also as well going to be the Platinum Edition, which I'm hoping to get my hands on. It's just a little bit more of this, but I'm going to spend a little bit more of this. I'm going to see if I can pick that Platinum Edition up, and I'm obviously going to want to have that one on display as well with kind of more of my Superpowers multiverse figures we've gotten so far. Like the look of Penguin, though. The only thing I don't like necessarily is the fact that I feel like he kind of got shortchanged on accessories. Not that I'm not appreciative of the fact that we did get ourselves a little podium standee. I always like when it comes to collector's edition figures that we do get stuff like this. But I always have to kind of make the argument that had they maybe saved the plastic by producing a standee like this, and had maybe they just saved the plastic to get another one of these. I do like the fact that he does have a folded up umbrella to carry around more like a cane, or if again he wants to point it towards Batman. But I would have loved also if they could have included a second opened up version of the umbrella as something that Penguin could be using more as a weapon. I literally just ran up the stairs to my office to go through my old collection of comics to pull out that Secret Origin special, which I knew I still had in my collection. It was dated from 1989. I very much vividly remember where I bought that comic. It was at Food City. Anybody here, at least if you're Canadian, probably would recognize Food City from the 80s. It was a food place, but they had on the end aisles, just before you went into the checkout, comic books. I picked up that issue. I don't even remember how much it was, probably like $1.25. And featured on the front, because I'm looking at it right now, there's Two-Face on one side flipping a coin. There's Riddler on the other side that's holding a question mark. And then right smack dab in the middle is Oswald Cobblepot. He has, though, his cigar, which is one thing, unfortunately, this figure doesn't have. For obvious reasons, we don't want to promote the idea of any character, whether you're a bad guy or not, smoking. And he's also holding his parasol in the middle of his legs. Love that comic. And I'm happy also still that I never got rid of it. All my old original comics that I collected as a kid, while I may have sold some of the later issued comics that I collected as a teenager, those old ones that I had as a kid are still in my collection to this day. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about what I just said for like the last minute or so. Anyways, though, looking though at Penguin, like the look of this Penguin, and I'm glad that we finally got ourselves a classic Penguin that goes, like if you're that kind of collector, I'm that kind of collector, that more specifically just likes to collect characters that look like classic comic renditions of them, this Penguin's perfect for that. It's going to go well with the Nightfall Batman. It's going to go well with like the Riddler. I think that Riddler is fantastic, and that Penguin's going to go really well with him. I think for the most part, he's a good Penguin, too. The only thing that's stumbling on this shortly statured person is the fact he does have that little bit of blue on the front of his body. I don't know why it's there. Why? Anybody? Can you tell me? It's blue on one side, it's blue on the other, and it's blue nowhere else on the figure's body. The head sculpt's good, and he also comes included with one umbrella. Kind of wish he could have come included with two, truthfully. But the fact that he still has included one, he also gets himself a display stand. Nice version of Penguin. If you guys do get the chance, you guys see this guy, either in stores or online, you can I would definitely recommend picking this guy up. And again, we're also going to be looking at the Platinum Edition when I get around to actually picking that one up. And of course, when I do the review of the Platinum Edition, this guy is not going to be flying the coop anytime soon. This guy's going to be coming back into that. And of course, we'll be comparing the two figures. But what do you guys, though, think of this version of Penguin? Could you guys see yourselves picking it up? And also, what other classic Batman villains would you like to see McFarlane approach next? Speaking, and I just happen to be going through my comics in my boxes. One just box that I would love to see them release, and I don't think anybody else is interested, is the Mud Pack of Clayfaces. All the Clayfaces that were part of the Mud Pack. Anybody else be interested in that? Nobody. Apparently, I'm the only one. If, though, you guys did enjoy this video, want to throw it a like. If you guys want to stick around, though, for more, make sure if you haven't already done so that you hit that subscribe button down below and you're turning on the bell notification. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.